What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do, family, peace, love, harmony, and light. This is your brother, Chief Kalanago, here with another video. All right. First off, just want to say happy January 1st. You know, we ain't doing the Happy New Year until March 21st, right? So we're not even gonna get into that. But however, like I said before, that energy is out there and people are celebrating. So I just harnessing some of that energy, but I'm just gonna tell you, happy January 1st. Okay, it's not officially 2020 yet. January is actually the 10th month. All right. Then you have uh February, of course, and then you have March. You know, which is from March 21st going into the new year. All right, when everything starts anew. All right, growth, vegetation. All right. But anyway, want to give thanks to the Great Spirit, man, just for another great continuation. Giving thanks to my ancestors for just continuously, using me as a tool, as a vessel, to uplift my people, and just to bring that information to you, man. Do as you may with the information, but it's all for educational purposes. You did all right. Hope you guys are enjoying your family because, like I said, even if we don't celebrate a lot of these, these foreign holidays or concepts, rather, at least a lot of our people are still caught up. You know what I mean? They're still caught up. So I say, you know what? Still enjoy the moment with them. Soon enough they will get there slowly but surely. All right. Everybody's gonna wake up in their own time. You feel me? So let us not be too hard on our brothers and sisters, our family, our mom, whether it may be your mom, your dad, your cousin, grandparents, just relatives, man, or even friends. Let us not be so hard on them because you don't feel they're waking up fast enough. All right. Maybe you're just the one that our ancestors are using to plant those seeds. So take your time with them. That's all I'm saying. All right. Um, what we doing here? Give me a second here, guys. Let me just, all right, cool, cool, cool. So I'm just pretty much giving you guys some time to log into the feed, but we're gonna start anyway, all right? And whoever that's gonna come on, they'll catch it a little, whenever they can. All right. What I'm gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about the conspiracy, right? That return to Africa conspiracy. And again, I'm speaking solely from my research, my studies, and knowing the fact that millions of us, all right, over 95% of our people that were considered black or African American, we were already here in the Americas. All right. So to me, that whole big pushback trying to send everybody to Africa, it's a conspiracy. And even more so, you know, a lot of researchers or teachers or lecturers, all right, they're not talking about, it's a fact that a lot of these so-called black people, they did not come from Africa. We had people who came from Britain. You had people who came from Ireland, the Germans, okay, the Scottish, and even Portuguese. A lot of these people were so-called black people, and they also came here as indentured servants, aka as slaves. So how do you just lump every so-called black person and just put them and say, hey, you're from Africa? But anyway, what I'm gonna do is I know I have done videos on that, but I'm just gonna show you some more information just to solidify the things that I say to, because some of our people, like I said, and a lot of our people are living their home. This is our home. You feel me? And I don't know what they're being offered. I don't know how much money they're getting through the program, but it's a program. Okay, it's a program that's put together, this whole return back to Africa thing. It's all about their economy, and it's a deal that's being struck. All right, and our people once again are being used as tools, as vessels. All right, for the betterment and the upliftment of another landmass. Okay, so let us get into this. I'm going to share my screen, and what I did was I put in give me a second here. Like I said, for those of you that's on, please, go ahead and share the screen. Not share the screen, but share the link. I would appreciate that. All right. Share it on your different social media platforms. So we're gonna what I did was I put the return to Africa policy. The return to Africa policy. All right. Back to Africa movement. Let's click on that. Okay. And a lot of these things, you don't have to be a scholar once again to find information. All right. It's how you do your research, what you need to put in the search to get information. All right. That's all it is. Okay. Now, Back to Africa movement from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. The Back to Africa movement in the 19th century called the Black Zionists, okay, or the colonization movement. The Black Zionists or the colonization movement encouraged Americans of African ancestry, all right, to return to Africa, not to their original homelands, which in most cases were unknown, but to the continent. Now, that alone in itself, to me, that is suspect, right? That is suspect because, and once again, some brother came on my, well, I'm not going to call him my brother, man. Anybody that's trying to take me away from my birthright, you ain't my brother, man. You an enemy of my people. So I'm not even going to call him my brother, but some dude came on my Facebook, he sent me a request. All right. And, I went through his page a little bit, and I was like, okay, boom, I accepted the request. But the first thing you coming into my inbox, you didn't even say hi, you know what I'm saying? Well, peace, brother. None of that. First thing you came with is a challenge. Well, I looked at a lot of your, your videos and I see a lot of your posts and you keep, you saying, well, denying the transatlantic slave trade. And well, what if I show you a website where they have all the records of all the slaves and names? And he gave me this website. And like I told y'all before, I'm looking at the website. You feel me? Because once again, yes, I am a little biased when it comes to our people. That's only because what we've been through. You feel me? Not because I'm in denial. I know our people was already here. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. However, if somebody give me information, I still want to be able to fact check. I want to fact check those things to be able to bring it to the people, regardless of what it is. If you say that's where we are from, show me the proof. And until you could show me that proof, well, you know what? You don't have any grounds to stand on. So with that being said, I went to the website. First off, the website was created in 2006. There was no updates on the website, period, until 2019. And I'm asking myself, well, how did I know that, right? Anytime you go to a website, you would, right click the website and check the source. All right. That's one way. Plus, I went to whois.com to see when the website was registered, when the website was updated. And it was only updated in 2019. So my thing is, where is all this information coming from all of a sudden when there's this big push to put our people in Africa? Where was that information I'm talking about 50 years ago? I mean, if you could find it now, if you could find the records in 2020, that means the records it has always been around. So my question is, why hide it? Why all of a sudden there's all these records and names of people and the exact location they came from in Africa? Why all of a sudden? So to me, that stuff is made up. It's made up. It cannot be concrete because we didn't have it in the 60s. We didn't have it in the 80s when you had all these big Pan-African movements. There was still no proof. Okay, no proof at all. But all of a sudden in 2019, you have proof, you have names, where they came from. But right here, Back to Africa movement. Let's read this again. The Back to Africa movement in the 19th century called Black Zionists or the colonization movement encouraged Americans of African descent to return to Africa, what? Not knowing their original homelands, which in most cases were unknown, but to the continent. So how you gonna, and so here we go again. How is that all this time? All this time, you don't know where people came from. You never had any records. All of a sudden in 2019, websites are showing up with names and where people are from exactly. Come on, man. Like, seriously. And I'm asking my people, man, listen, man, y'all better wake up, man. Y'all better wake up, because this is real. This is an attack, okay? It's another form of genocide on the American Aborigines, aka American Indians, okay? The mere fact that they realize our ancestors' DNA is waking up in us, and we are standing up and claiming who we are. Here comes, boom, the colonization movement again, which is also attached to what? The colonization society. But let's read some more, right? Where we at? In general, the movement was an overwhelming failure. It was an overwhelming failure. Very few freed wanted to move to Africa. And the small number that did, some under duress, initially faced brutal conditions. Now, let's read this again, right? If you're from Africa and you're a slave and you get a chance to go back home, why would there be an overwhelming failure for that movement? Very few freed wanted to go to Africa, wanted to move to Africa. Why? That is because Africa wasn't their home. You see what I'm saying? Because it doesn't mean, we became prisoners of war in our land. That was the problem. But our people knew they were from here. How are you going to free me up? You know what I'm saying? After you enslaved me in my own home, and you want to take me somewhere I've never been, somewhere I didn't come from. So let's read this again. Like I said, when you read, you have to read with understanding. Don't just read no, read and look beneath the lines on that white surface. The black lines is between the truth is always between the wording and that white background. Go beyond what you see and read with understanding. Pick every word, pick every sentence, pick every paragraph and break it down. And then you will get the truth. Because like I said, they can't fool me with the BS. My eye, not my eyes, but my eye is mad open. You feel me? But I'm going to read this again and break this down and show you how they play the games, okay? So it says, encourage Americans of African ancestry to return to Africa, not to their original homelands, which in most cases were unknown, but to the continent. You feel me? So you're trying to tell me this once again, you are solidifying that there is no records. So how the hell is a brother coming to my page telling me, well, again, not my brother, a dude coming to my page telling me, well, I've been looking at your videos. Man, at least say, what's up, brother? How you doing? You know what I mean? First thing, well, I've been looking at your page and your videos, and you keep saying, well, the transatlantic slave trade was exaggerated. What if I give you a website showing that slaves come with the names and exactly where they came from? How could you refute that? I say, okay, well, I'm going to check it out. When I go check it out, come on, man, where was all that information? Because it didn't exist. That stuff is being made up. You feel me? So in general, the movement was an overwhelming failure. It was a failure, of course, because our ancestors didn't want to go to a place they didn't come from. Come on. If that were the case, and you getting an opportunity to go back where you came from, and Africa had all these, these natural resources and gold and land and diamonds, man, you take me from there and you brought me over here and you give me a chance to go back home, you ain't got to tell me twice. You ain't got to tell me twice. Please. I'll swim. You ain't even got to buy me a ticket. I'm going to swim because I want to go back home to Africa. You feel me? But let us read. Very few freed, even when they were free, wanted to move to Africa. Come on, man. And the small number that did, some under duress. In other words, once again, let me reiterate. If I get a chance to go back home, why not? But why do you have to force me? That's what under duress means. You have to force me to go back where I came from? Why was the spirit so rebellious? It is because that's not where our ancestors were from. You dig, all right? Initially faced brutal conditions. Now you want to beat me up? You want to threaten my family if I don't go? As the failure became known in the United States in the 1820s, it spawned and energized the aboltionist movement. Liberia became an independent black country along with Haiti and Sierra Leone, and the countries founded by former slaves. U.S. ambassador to Liberia was a coveted position. In the 20th century, Marcus Garvey, Rastafarians, and some of the African American espoused the concept, but few actually left the United States. Why? Because our people didn't want to go. So I don't know why our people, American Aborigines, looking at Marcus Garvey as a hero. I hope y'all not, because he was part of the colonization movement, the colonization society, getting our people to leave their natural, birthright to go to a place that we didn't come from. Okay? So let's read again. So remember, so hear what they say. Haiti, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. All those people were people that were already here. So a lot of people that actually was in Haiti, they took them from the mainland and different parts of the Americas and dumped some of them in Haiti, telling them they're from Africa. Come on, man. Better stop playing these games, yo. Background, right? Neither slavery nor free blacks were seen as major problems in North America in the 18th century. At the time of the American Revolution, there had been few free blacks anywhere in the country. In 1776, slavery was legal in all 13 of the British colonies that became the United States. Okay, the small number of free blacks were able to find employment or land to farm and were not perceived as troublesome. Pressures for ending slavery began small but grew steadily. Various philosophical and religious condemnations of it, especially by the Quakers, were published. Slavery became illegal in the United Kingdom in 1772 by the court decision C. Somerset versus Stuart, and in the British colonies by statute in 1838. In France, slavery was illegal at least since the 16th century, and as part of the French Revolution, it was abolished in French colonies in 1794, although it was restored in 1802 to 1848. Starting in 1791, the slaves of Saint Domingo revolted, gaining their freedom, and established the free black country of Haiti. Okay, so Santo Domingo, which is part of Dominican Republic and Haiti, Hispaniola is the same land. Okay, so those people are essentially the same people. So I don't know why they're fighting each other. What they did was they dropped a bunch of mulattoes in there, all right, to start hating on the so-called darker skinned ones to create this type of division. But they're the same people, all right. Starting with Pennsylvania and Massachusetts in 1870, slavery was gradually abolished in all the northern states, although this did not mean that existing slaves were always freed. Vermont, which at the time was not part of the United States, abolished slavery in 1777. By the 1850 census, there are no slaves in the free states. There were still hundreds in the 1840 census and millions in the South. In the South, sometimes influenced by appeals from preachers, abolitionism in the United States had a strong religious component. Some individuals freed their slaves or left in their wills instructions to free them upon their owner's death. The number of free blacks in the new United States skyrocketed, and the question of what to do with them steadily grew in importance. Now, once again, let's kind of like break that down a little bit, right? When it says the number of free blacks in the United States skyrocketed, remember, the United States was a construct that was created. It didn't say the amount of free blacks in the Americas. It says in the United States, meaning that they were not considered as part of the census. Okay? They were not considered to be part of the civilized, so to speak, or the Christians. All right? Because that's what it means. It doesn't mean free blacks in the Americas, because the United States is not America. So once again, when you read within a standing, it is saying the number of free blacks in the new United States, not in the Americas. In other words, that what they have on record, what they could take account of, they did a census. All right? They could keep check. That's what it means. It skyrocketed. In other words, a lot of our ancestors started to do the census. So they became part of the count. They became part of the new established United States. And the question of what to do with them steadily grew in importance. Even when free, most were not citizens. You see what I'm saying? Not citizens with no legal rights. So at that time, even if you were an American Indian and you were considered black, okay, you had no legal rights. No legal rights whatsoever, even if you were free. Now here we go. As the Dred Scott decision made it clear, and if you go to the Dred Scott decision, it says that no person of African descent could ever, I repeat, never be a United States citizen, and that law has never been repealed, that court case. So even for all those you so-called African Americans and black people, you are not a citizen of the United States. That has never been repealed. So if you're not a citizen of the United States, then what are you? That's something that I would like you to ask yourself and think about that very profoundly, okay? They were usually seen as racially inferior. Few believed them as a desirable or even a possible part of the American society. They were prohibited from living in some areas, and there was legal discrimination that is astonishing today. Black passengers on the river boats were not allowed in the cabin, but had to stay on deck, whatever the weather. In Florida, each free black man had to have a white man who could be used for the Negroes' misdeeds, if any, since blacks could neither sue nor be sued. The Quaker Zephaniah Kingsley, who believed that the amalgamation of the races was desirable, was forced to leave the country of Haiti. In the South, free blacks who could and did not learn to read and write were often in touch with abolitionist writings. The slave owners who controlled those states saw free blacks as a threat to the stability of the economy and society, and made no secret of their desire to get rid of them. Okay? The new freed slave problem. All right? Much of the African American population was freed people seeking opportunity. All right? Now let's read this again. Much of the African American freed population was freed people seeking opportunity. In other words, American Aborigines who became African Americans. Okay? And they're saying African Americans, but at that time they were not called African Americans. So a lot of times when you read, you have to realize, well, when that was written, and if you're using certain terms, then that information could be misconstrued. So that should have been here. It should have been much of the black or Negro population was free people seeking opportunity. It wasn't African American, because African American didn't come about. It wasn't attested until 1968 to 1969 by the Teachers Association. Okay? Many Southern freed blacks, there you go. That's more like it. Many Southern free blacks migrated to the industrial North to seek employment, while others moved to surrounding Southern states. Their progress was met with hostility, as many whites were not used to sharing space with blacks in a context outside of chattel slavery. Okay, because so what they're indicating is that during chattel slavery, so-called blacks and so-called whites, all right, they shared a space, and they did work together. So all of a sudden you have so-called free whites, and then all of a sudden they don't like so-called free blacks? That just doesn't make sense whatsoever. Because trust me, they were mixing and having sex like goats and rabbits. That's why a lot of y'all have all this high color. Okay? Let's just keep it 100. No disrespect. All right? I ain't throwing shit. I'm just keeping it real. Okay? Many did not believe that free Africans had a place in America. All right? In the North, many whites believe that, but here's the funny thing, and we'll go to that again, because so-called whites were called Africans even before us, right? So please, man, let's break this down. In the North, many whites believed that blacks could not achieve equality in the United States and therefore pushed for their immigration to Africa. Even though most had been born in the US and had never seen Africa. All right? Most had been born in the US and never seen Africa. So let me ask you a question. Once again, you have to read between the lines. Read with understanding, my brothers and sisters. The United States was just what? The United States was a what? Let's go back here real quick. The newly formed United States. We just read that somewhere. Okay, I don't want to, kind of like go too far so I can lose myself where I'm at. But anyway, we just read the newly formed United States. Okay, we read that. And we know when the United States was established, right? So how could it be? Let's read again. In the North, many whites believe that blacks could not achieve equality in the United States and therefore pushed for their immigration to Africa, even though most had been born in the US and had never seen Africa. So if the United States was a newly formed country, meaning that it didn't exist until 1776. But it does say that most of them were born, meaning that they were already here. So you try to tell me, let's make sense with this, right? If they were born in the US, right, which is in 1776, they were born, that's a new beginning for a whole new bunch of so-called black people. They were born in the US in 1776. Where did all these people come from? They're talking about people, when they say born in the US, they're talking about people who accept citizenship. They're talking about people who said, okay, you know what? I want to be part of this society. Got to peep the game, man. Got to peep the game. And they did, and they are speaking the truth. Our people had never seen Africa because we did not come from there. All right? Such sentiment was not exclusive to Northerners. One prominent of the colonization movement, Solomon Parker of Hampshire, County, Virginia, was quoted as having said, I am not willing that the man or any of my blacks shall ever be freed to remain in the United States. I'm opposed to slavery and also opposed to freeing blacks to stay in our country, and do sincerely hope that the time is approaching when our lands shall rid of them. Okay? Riots swept in the free states in waves, usually in urban areas where there had been recent immigration of blacks from the South. The height of these riots was in 1819, with 25 riots recorded, resulting in many injuries and fatalities. Although riots continued up through the 1830s, it says, see abolitionism in the North. The Back to Africa movement was seen as a solution to these problems by both groups, with more support from the white population than the black population, of course, because our people did not come from Africa. So why would they want to go to Africa? Now think about it, right? If you became a slave, you were good in your home, doing all your rituals, you know what I'm saying? Doing everything in Africa, eating your food, you got your wife, your children, all your family is there. And then you are freed all of a sudden, and you need to go back home. Why are you resisting? Why do you want to stay in a place that you are being persecuted? That they don't want you here. They want to re-enslave you. Why? I mean, I could comprehend if it was a time like now and you have all these opportunities. But these opportunities were not prevalent in those times. So why wouldn't you want to go back to Africa? Why is only the so-called white people who want to send you? That is because our people didn't want to go, because that's not where they came from. Okay? Now, like I said, you have to read with understanding, family. You feel me? It says, the Back to Africa movement was seen as a solution to these problems by both groups, with more support from the white population than the black population. Blacks often viewed the project with skepticism, particularly among middle class who feared that the colonization movement was a ploy to deport freed African Americans to restrict their effort against slavery. Shortly after the foundation of what? The American Colonization Society. Guess who was a partner of that? The Teachers Association. Okay, 3,000 freed blacks gathered in a church in Philadelphia and issued forth a declaration stating that they will never separate ourselves voluntarily from the slave population of the country. Similarly, black leaders such as James Forten, who had previously supported the colonization movement, changed their minds as a result of widespread black resistance to the idea. They had to change their mind because our people was like, nah, man, we ain't going to Africa. We ain't from Africa. Y'all going to have to kill us. Now, why would you rather death in a land that you were enslaved instead of going back to where you came from? Somebody explain that to me, please. Let me see if somebody can explain that to me in the chat. Let me see if anybody could explain that logic to me. Why would our ancestors want to stay here and rather die than go back to a country they came from? Man, listen, y'all could pass me with that BS. All right, now check this out. Religious motivations for colonization. So if y'all want to continue to be in these churches, and I know our people are brainwashed, man, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not mad at our people for wanting to serve your Jesus. Okay, that's an indoctrination. That stuff was forced on our people. But y'all got to know the truth. Okay, and I'm not here to to bash your religion or your ideologies. All I'm just saying is learn the truth, man. Learn the truth. Now let us read a little bit of the truth. Some facts. Religious motivations for colonization. Following the Great Awakening. Let me show you what it is. The Great Awakening refers to what? A number of periods of religious revival in American history. Historians and theologians identify 3 or 4 waves of increased religious enthusiasm occurring during the early 18th century, the late 20th century. Okay? The Great Awakening. Right now, we are having another Great Awakening when our people are realizing, okay, and proclaiming who we are. That is another Great Awakening. And what they want to do, they want to do the same thing. What they did back then. Oh no, let's get them to Africa because it's going to be another problem. There's going to be a revolution. Brothers and sisters, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun, man. I'm showing you that history is repeating itself right before our faces. And our ancestors are turning in their grave and they're turning in the spiritual realm. That our people are still falling for the okie doke. Come on, man. I'm going to read that again. The following the Great Awakening, in which America was swept by a wave of religious fervor, many enslaved African Americans converted what? Converted to Christianity. Okay? What is Christianity? An Abrahamic monotheistic religion based on the life and teaching of Jesus of Nazareth. Its adherents, known as Christians, believe that Jesus is the Christ, whose coming as the Messiah was professed or prophesied in the Hebrew Bible called the Old Testament in blah, 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 blah. So once again, many of you so-called black people that have every church on every corner got these pastors fooling you. Guess what? It says what? Many enslaved African Americans what? Converted to what? Christianity. So let me ask you a question. Before you were Christians, what were you? Do you know what convert means? Let me ask you a question. Okay? If you have a car in its original form and you turn it into a convertible, is it the same car? No, it's not. It's been converted. Okay? So if all you so-called black people were not Christians, why do we have Christian churches on every corner in the hood? It's because you were converted. They took you away from what you had. And y'all still gonna see this truth and hear this truth and still go sit down in a church and pray to the God of your enslavers. You're still gonna go give them your 10%. Family, I know it hurts. The truth hurts. And I know a lot of you will be in denial. It's called cognitive dissonance. It doesn't matter what you see, what you hear, how much of the facts you get, you are still going to be in denial. And I hope you could swim, because the Nile is a river that runs right through Mississippi. So get out of the Nile. Get on dry land here for a second and look at the reality. Okay? You were not Christians. But like I said, I'm not going to turn this into religion. But they brought it up. It wasn't me. Okay? When the enslaved population of America was mostly Muslim, okay? Now, you hear that? When the enslaved population of the America was mostly Muslim, let's look at Muslim. Muslim are people who follow a practice Islam, a monotheistic Abrahamic religion. Now check this out. And that's just a little something for my Moorish brothers and sisters. We're not going to get into that because I'm not going to get in your case right now. It says what? Abrahamic religion. Let us go look at Christian again. Boom. Christianity what? Abrahamic what? Monotheistic. Christianity, Abrahamic, monotheistic. Let us go look at Islam. Let's go look what? Muslim are people who what? Follow what? Islam, a monotheistic what? Abrahamic religion. It is the same thing. So a lot of our people, okay, now here, let me just tie this into, let me just bring this into fruition here for you, okay? The reason why when the enslaved population of America were mostly Muslim is because what? They came here and enslaved our ancestors first. Did I tell you that? Before the Christians came, who do you think enslaved our people? Now we're starting to make sense, huh? Like I tell y'all before, man, I'm only here to drop the facts. I'm only here to drop the truth. That's it. You do what you want with it. You feel me? But remember, before the transatlantic slave trade, people keep forgetting our people, our ancestors were being enslaved by the so-called, nobles of Britain, Scotland, Ireland, German, and Portuguese, whatever you call them. A lot of them call themselves Moors and Blackamoors. Okay, they practice Islam. I don't care if you tell me, well, one is Muslim and one is Muslim. It don't make a difference. It's the same. Y'all enslaved my ancestors and y'all brought your religion here. But let me ask you a question. If that's not the case, why is that they both came from what? An Abrahamic foundation. Now, let me just prove my point again. We're speaking of religion. Y'all think Chief Kalanago is playing, huh? Let's keep sharing the screen here. Let's go to Google real quick. Y'all gonna learn today. Okay? Let me see. Let us go here for a second. Etymology of religion. Y'all gonna learn. Like I said, you're always gonna learn when you come here. I promise you that. You're gonna learn. All right? Etymology of religion. Okay? Religion. It had nothing to do with a Bible or faith, so to speak. It was disguised as that. Let me show you what a religion really is. Religion state of bound by monistic views, also adopted in their belief on divine power, whatever. But let us come here for a second. All right? Religion. However, in the popular etymology among respect to sacred, no, not religion, legion, pardon me. Because for there to be a religion, you first have to have a legion. We're talking about the legion first. Okay? Legion. Legion. Here we go. My bad on that, guys. I thought I was bugging here for a second. Legion, right? A Roman religion from legion. A what? A squad, a band, a company, a Roman legion. Okay? It says what? A Roman legion, a body of soldiers, a levy of troops. So a legion is an army. So when you speak of a religion, okay, it is bringing back the army. So Islam was an army, okay? Christianity was an army. Y'all gonna learn. Christianity was an army. Islam was an army. But it was two groups of people. The same people who separated their armies. They became enemies. And one army was called Islam, one army was called Christianity. But it all came from the same foundation. So they brought it in the form of a faith-based, but beneath it all, it was truly a legion. And when they lost their power, they had to what? Reintroduce their legion, their armies, called religion. All right? So let us go back to what I was reading here again now. Now I hope that makes sense. So when we speak of, okay, where we at? When we speak of religious motivations and religion, the practice of indigenous African religions, all right? And here we go again. When the enslaved population of America was mostly Muslim or practiced indigenous African religions, all African, it had nothing to do with us. So we were not Muslim, we were not Islam, we were not Christians, we were none of that. They brought that here, okay? And they all came from what? Abrahamic, monotheistic religion based, okay? Christianity, here we go. Muslim, Abrahamic, monotheistic religion based. It's an army that came here. So the first army that came to enslave our people was what? The Muslims. That was the first army that came. And then the Christian army said, "Now we want a piece of this." And then they came. All right. I just wanted to make sure I spend enough time on that so I could break it down enough for you to know exactly what transpired. So the American Indian have been going through it from day one. From day one, all these armies came here to force their ideologies and their lifestyles on us. Okay? In the 19th century, many religious Americans found it difficult to continue supporting enslavement of their brothers in Christ, especially amongst the Quakers. Two examples of such Christians are Reverend Moses Tigneel and Reverend Samuel R. Houston, who freed slaves and sent them to Liberia in 1855 and 1856, respectively. These two men, believing that they were morally obligated to finance such voyages, played an important role in colonization movement. Like I told y'all, man, the church was nothing but a military camp to entrap our people, to take them and send them to Africa. Okay? It was the Christian army, the legion, the Christian legion, all right, that created the churches, because they came and fought what? The Muslim legion, the Islam legion, which is another army that first came to enslave our people. And then the Christian army came. But they came with the sword. You see what I'm saying? But they couldn't beat us. We were too strong. So they said, okay, you know what now? We got to cater to their spirituality. We got to tone that down a little bit. These savages now, we can't come with them with that. Let us try a different approach. And that was the only time the Bible became salvation. Those who have ears, let them hear. And those who have eyes, let them see. All right, let's read some more. Since its inception, the American colonization society struggled to garner support from within the free black communities. Why is that? If we have Islam, who enslave our people, murdering our people, raping our women, right? And then we have Christianity doing the same thing, but yet still these people, these so-called black people, they don't want to live. Why was it still a struggle to get them to go to Africa? Tell me why. Why would you rather face persecution in a land that's not yours, opposed to wanting to go home and get a free ride? Come on, man. Something just don't add up. If it smells like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if it, like a duck, then it is a duck. It's all BS. Okay? That stuff is made up. During the late 1840s and the early 50s, the creation of an independent Liberian state splintered. the nearly uniform voice against colonization. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 provided the United States government ample power to recapture fugitive slaves. Following its passage, many black leaders promoted immigration and colonization to a nation that would provide and protect their rights. In spite of this, several black critics were outspoken against Back to Africa movement and the activities of the Stagegem will be employed to allure the people to the colony. They have to find some type of way to allure them. Do you know what allure means? That means that if you want to catch bees, you gotta what? You gotta give them honey. So they have to find something to allure them. All right. The independence of its inhabitants, the enjoyment and privileges of its citizens will be pictured forth in glowing colors to deceive you. It's not the tell me stop. Somebody please tell me, Chief, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. End this life right now because you have no idea what you're talking about. Somebody please tell me that. Come on, man. They are using the same tools they used back then right now. And what they're using your celebrity. All right? What? It says what? Will picture forth glowing colors to deceive you. The glowing colors are what? Your celebrities. All right? That is what they're using to catch you, the bee. That's the honey. Huh, man. Hey. About maybe I'm crazy, but call me crazy. I would rather stay crazy. You see what I'm saying? I would rather stay crazy. I'm gonna stay crazy. It's all right. Let them put me in the madhouse right now. All right. Now let's says once again, why do you have to trick them to going back somewhere? Why you have to allure them? Why you have to give them the glowing colors, the paint the big picture? Why do you have to paint the picture that the grass is green on the other side when they know damn well that's not their home? According to the Encyclopedia of Georgia History and Culture, as early as 1820, Black Americans had begun to return to their ancestral homeland through auspices of American colonization society. Okay, that they knew that wasn't their homeland. It wasn't their ancestral homeland. That's why they were fighting so hard. By 1847, the American Colonization Society founded Liberia, a land to be settled by Black people returning from the United States of America. Between 1822 and the Civil American War, the American Colonization Society had migrated approximately 15,000 free blacks to America. Notable members of the American Colonization Society included blase, 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 blase. All were white and most were Southern, also were slave owners, okay? So the notable members of the Colonization Society was all pale people. All pale people. Well, maybe so or maybe not, because it depends on what white meant at that time. So I'm not going to jump to that conclusion, all right? Now let's read a little more. In 1811, Paul Coffey, I remember that, I remember him, a Black man who was a wealthy man of property, a petitioner for equal rights for Blacks, began to explore the idea of Black people returning to their native land, convinced that opportunities for the advancement of Black people were limited in America, and he became interested in African colonization. With the help of the Quakers, of course, y'all love Quaker oats, don't you? In the Philadelphia, he was able to transport 38 Blacks to Freetown, Sierra Leone in 1815. Martin Delany, an African American, in 1854 led the National Emigration Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. He visited Liberia and made plans largely unrealized to assist Blacks in relocating there. All right, so that, you know, we could read some more, but I'm not going to read everything here. What I'll do is I'll take all these links and put them in the video for you. Okay, I'll do that. All right. Now, let us go to the next link. All right. Now, this is what, when they say allure, that's what let me show you an example of what they're using in this day and age. Okay. I know we just saw that. To allure. Okay. where I just read that at. Blacks running from the United States, civil rights, native land, that became interested. But anyway, we just spoke of them using, all type of mechanisms to allure the people to make them think that there we go. All right. Will be pictured forth using what? In glowing colors to deceive. So let me show you what the glowing colors in 2019 and 2020 will be. Let me show you what it is. The glowing colors. In other words, the honey to attract the bees so that they could deceive you. Let me show you what they're using in today's day and age. Here you go. That's what they're using. That's the new tool. All right. They're using your celebrities. All right. American rapper T.I. arrives in Ghana for the year of the return. Let me ask you, Mr. T.I., why don't you go move to Ghana? Why don't you take your family and go move? Go back home, T.I. Go back home. Clifford Joseph Jr., known as professionally as T.I., has landed in Ghana as part of the Year of Return initiative championed by tourism. What? Tourism industry. Championed by what? Man, listen. Y'all think it's a game. But of course, those are the people you support, right? Let us go look at this real quick. Man, yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like I said, man, the vision my ancestors give me, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that. Okay? All right. Tourism ministry. Tourism ministry. All right. Everything. Let me see if I could. Let me see. Well, we know what ministry is, but let's look at tourism. All right. Let's just look at that word tourism. Right. Tourism definition. Okay. Why is it showing me that like in that way? For some reason, I think Google changed up there. Tourism. I'm looking for definition. Tourism is the act and process of spending time away from home in pursuit of recreation. All right, here we go. So here we go. Tourism, the act and process of spending time away from home in pursuit of recreation, relaxation, and pleasure while making use of commercial provision. So let us go back to Mr. T.I. here. It says what? Championed by the tourism ministry. Man, listen, man. Y'all better recognize what's going on. All right. The American rapper and his wife arrived at Terminal 3 of Kutoka International Airport amidst drumming and racing and dancing at 1 p.m. T.I. and his team were met at arrival at the Kutoka International Airport with pop and pageantry amidst traditional Ghana drumming and dancing can be seen in the video below. All right. All right. It says lots of African Americans in the diaspora have booked their tickets to visit Ghana to retrace their family roots and to experience life and culture of the people. Like, come on, man. Are you serious? All that stuff again is all commerce. It's all commerce. This ain't got nothing to do with our people being from there. This is all commercial, all for commercial purposes, family. All for commercial purposes. Once again, let me tell you why T.I. went there. Okay, let's read this again. Clifford Jr. Harris Jr., known professionally as T.I., has landed in Ghana as part of the Year of Return initiative. Okay, championed by what? The tourism ministry. It wasn't the cultural ministry. Brothers and sisters, those who have ears, let them hear. It wasn't the cultural ministry. No, it wasn't. It was the tourism ministry. If it were culture, then that would be something different. That is more spiritual. But no, by the tourism ministry, meaning that it's all about business. You are not from Ghana. Your people are not from Africa. But they are using you to build their economy. Okay? And guess who's pushing the agenda? The Colonization Society, the Teachers Association, and the tourism industry. Okay? Once again, using our people to build societies. All right. Let us go. Let's go again. Right here. American rapper Ludacris arrives in Ghana, visits Cape Coast Castle for year of return. Ludacris know damn well he ain't African. Because if you go into Ludacris genealogy, you will find that Ludacris is an American Aboriginal. So my brother Ludacris, why are you part of this tourism, you know what I'm saying, initiative to get our people to move to Ghana? Why? Why aren't you and your family moving? Why are you promoting it for our people to move? Why is that? So I'm going to put all these in the link below so that y'all could literally go ahead and listen to the video and look at it yourself. This is from the Ghana Africa TV. Okay? Man, this is all a big scheme, man. Because they know we waking up and they want to lessen our numbers. Y'all think it's a game. So that's what they're using. Okay? That to allure you. That is the equivalent of what they called back in the day, like I said, the glowing colors. To what? To deceive you. Yes, they sold out, like they always do. They are using the glowing colors to deceive you, your celebrities, the people you idolize, the people you worship. Okay? See who they're using again. Cardi B. Who the hell is Cardi B? Those are the people y'all get rich off of y'all. Okay? Cardi B is, yes, she's a real African. But Cardi B and T.I., right? Pato Rankin finally in Ghana, watch reactions from the airport for the year of return. Man, y'all think this is a game, man. Y'all think this is a game. But go ahead. Go ahead, man. If y'all think life is going to be sweet in Africa, there's a reason why our ancestors resisted that. Okay? And they had to go through threat, duress, and coercion. But y'all going on your own free will nowadays. All right? That is the difference between our ancestors and a lot of y'all. Y'all ain't got the spirit of our ancestors in y'all. Okay? Now, let us go look at the etymology of African American. Okay? Etymology of African American. There are isolated instances from the late 18th and early 19th century, but the modern use is a reinvention. Okay? It's a reinvention attested what? In 19 I showed you this before, right? That was all African American meant. Only reference to what? The African American Teachers Association. Guess who was a member of that in 1969? Jesse Jackson. Okay, so all this was well planned and devised. This is nothing new. You feel me? Nothing new. Right? Now it says what? Which became the preferred term. It became a preferred term. It became a preferred term in some circles for U.S. Black, not all. So therefore, how can you call yourself an African American? For some, and it says by the late 1980s, see African plus African American. Reports Afro-American is now very commonly used in the Negro press. Afro-American attested in 1853, the Freeman's publication in Canada, right? Come on, man. Now let us go click on African. African, a native inhabitant of Africa, from Africa. Use what? Use of whites residents of Africa in 1815. That's who the Africans are. Okay? But it says what? Use of black residents from 18th century when it especially meant one brought from Africa, and sometimes what? Contrasted to native-born Negro. So the native-born Negro is not an African. They compared him to an African. Man, listen, man, y'all better wake up. Okay? Y'all better wake up. They're telling you right there. All right, sometimes contrasted to what? The native-born Negro. The native-born Negro is not an African. Okay? Just so y'all know. All right? Let us proceed. Boom. African Colonization Society. All right? Which literally founded the Teachers Association. The African American Teachers Association, they were the one who funded that. And like I said, Jesse Jackson was a member as early as 1969. You did. Now let's read some more. The Society for the Colonization of Free People of Color, commonly known as American Colonization Association, ACS, all right, was a group established in 1816 by who? Robert Finley. Why would a Caucasian man want to set up an organization to send our people back to Africa? It wasn't set up by us. All right, then. It says of New Jersey to encourage and support the migration of free African Americans to the continent of Africa. In 1821 to 1822, the society helped to fund settlements in Pepper Coast of West Africa and place of freeborn or mutated or manumitted, but not fugitive, American blacks. What does that mean? Manumission of enfranchisement is the act of an owner freeing his or her slave. Different approaches develop each specific time and place of a particular society. Jamaican historian Vereen Shepherd states that the most widely used term is gratuitous manumission. Okay. This was adjacent to Sierra Leone, the already existing British colony for the former slaves and free blacks. So when they tell you you look like West Africans, tell them yes, you do, because those are our people. They came from here. To all you ignorant fools. Okay? Those are our people they took there. And mind you, they took them by force, duress, and coercion. Black activist James Fortain immediately rejected the ACS, okay, writing in 1817 that we have no wish to separate from our present homes for any purpose whatsoever. All right? You see what James, an activist, says, nah, man, we're going to reject that. The American Colonization Society, nah. We have no wish to separate from our present homes. Come on, man. Many white people at first believed that the American Colonization Society had started out as a benefit enterprise with the goal of helping freed slaves, giving them opportunities they could not have in the U.S., and solving with kindness and creativity a major social problem. However, in 1820s, a reaction started forming in the American Colonization Society, which broke into an open disdain and rebellion in 1830s, as many of its former supporters concluded that they had been deceived. Okay, they had been deceived that the American Colonization Society, rather than being anti-slavery, was helping to what preserved it. So for all you people going to Ghana thinking you're going for a better life, no. You're going back into another form of slavery. Welcome to reality. Okay? The majority of the Black Americans regarded the society with enormous disdain. Not just with disdain, but enormous disdain. Okay? As soon as they heard about it, 300 blacks packed a church in Philadelphia, the Bewelter city of free blacks, and bitterly and anonymously denounced it. While claiming to aid African Americans in some cases to stimulate immigration, it made conditions for them worse. For example, the society assumed that the task of resuscitating the Ohio Black Codes of 1804 and 1807. Between 1,000 and 1,200 free blacks were forced from Cincinnati. While return to the continent you came from, where everyone is black, had an abstract appeal. In most cases, American slaves had lived for generations in the United States, knew very little about Africa, and weren't very interested. That is because they were not from here. They didn't come from there. You said that, hear that? The majority, no, check this out, family. Peep the game. Peep the game now. Like I said, the semantics, y'all got to read between the line. Peep the game. It says what? The majority weren't pure Africans, but mulattoes with an owner father. All right, stop. I knew there were some mulattoes, but there were a lot of people who were not mulattoes. But it says what? Most were, this says what again? The majority weren't pure Africans because they weren't Africans, period. All right? Most were Christians. African-American leaders such as Frederick were strongly opposed to the colonization movement. None supported it. To them, it respected slavery rather than calling for its abolition. And its biggest supporters, including most of its presidents, were Southern slave owners. They wanted to get rid of free blacks, many of whom had been in the United States for generations. Come on, man. The United States was just created. So how could they have been in the United States for many generations? Why not just say they were the American Indians? You see how these people keep playing these games? Man, listen, like I said, man, y'all read this for yourselves and read between the lines, man. You feel me? Read between the lines. Now, all this stuff was happening in the 1800s. But that same 1800s, let's go look at to see what an American was. An American, a native of America, originally applied to what? The Aboriginals or copper-colored races. Copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to these descendants of Europeans born in America. Now, this right here is a loaded definition, because now you have to ask yourself, are they talking about the original European or they are talking about the new European? Because if it's the original European, they look just like us. And that means they're here in America trying to take our place. Now, somebody tell me to stop. Y'all better stop playing with me, man. Like I said, I read with understanding. I read between the lines, family. So no matter how you look at it, if it's the original, because it speaks of originally applied. So if we're speaking of the original European, then we are talking about people who look just like us. But it says what? Now applied to the descendants of these Europeans born in America. So are they talking about the original European or the new one? Because either way, they are here taking our places. Y'all put two and two together. I don't have to even expound on that. All right? Man, y'all think this is a game. Y'all think those who have eyes, let them see, and those who have ears, let them hear. All right? Y'all think Chief be playing, huh? Nah. It ain't even 2020 yet, and I'm just getting started. It's only January 1st. We got till March 21st for 2020 to hit. Okay? And that's the Gregorian calendar. All right? We in the year 630 something. All right? So we're not even going to get into that right now. But I'm just showing y'all how you break things down. Okay? How you break things down. Because the original European looked just like us. All right? So if originally American applied to us, and it's now being applied to the Europeans born here, which ones are they talking about? Because the pale man is not a European. Uh-oh, Chief, don't tell them that. They're not ready for that, Chief. The pale man is not a European. Okay? He's not a European now. I'm going to let y'all think about that one here for a second. Okay? Now, let us go read some more, man. Reading is fundamental. That's why I love to read. They say if you want to hide something from a you-know-what, put it in a book. Well, guess what? I ain't one of those. So you put it in the book, I'm going to find it. Let me drink some juice on that. Salute. Happy January 1st. Woo. Let us proceed, man. Like I said, I love this. I love what I do. I love doing the do. All right. So right now, we're going to talk about right here. That was in 1876 when Frederick Douglass spoke, right? 1876. So, and Frederick Douglass was a well-educated man, an astute gentleman, a scholar. Okay. Now, if in 1828, American was a copper-colored Aboriginal, how are you going to tell me a well-studied man like Frederick Douglass don't know that he was an Aboriginal? Because that was in 1876. You think Frederick Douglass didn't know about Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary? Well, let us read what Mr. Frederick, our elder, had to say. Let's read a little bit. He says, "You say you can't. All right, that's fine. We ain't doing none of that. We ain't trying to end that. Stop playing right now. Okay? Let's read. But now I come to another proposition held up as a solution of the rare problem, and this I consider equally unworthy with the one just disposed of. The two belong to the same low breed family of ideas. It is the proposition to colonize the colored people of America in Africa. Man, woo! Somebody stop me. Woo! Let me drink some more juice, boy. Woo! Man, I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot. Woo! This is not a game. I'm getting hot. Woo! I'm on fire right now. Y'all think it's a game, huh? Man, shoot. Woo! Take this off, boy. Because y'all think I'm playing. I ain't playing. Now let's read this again. And all this is solidifying everything we read before, because our ancestors were resisting going to Africa. Let's read, Mr. Frederick Douglass' memoirs, right? It is what? It is the proposition to colonize the colored people of America in Africa or somewhere else. All right? So the whole goal from day one was to get us away from our homeland and either send us to Africa or what? Somewhere else. It doesn't matter where they send you. As long as you leave America, they want you to go. Man, listen. All right? Happily, this scheme will be defeated both by its impolicy and its impracticability. You hear that? It's a scheme. Okay? If Frederick Douglass is saying that, now let's go back here again. To deceive you, brothers and sisters, they will give you people like T.I., the glowing colors, people like Ludacris, the glowing colors, people like Cardi B, the glowing colors, to do what? To deceive you. To deceive you. What is our elder, Mr. Frederick Douglass, said? He said what? It's a scheme, all right? But it will be defeated. You feel me? It is all nonsense to talk about the removal of 8 million of the American people from their homes in America to Africa. The expense and the hardships, to say nothing of the cruelty attending such a measure, would make success impossible. Now let me ask you a question. If at that time we were living in more of a modern age, and if Mr. Frederick Douglass is saying the expense and the hardships, to say nothing of cruelty, such as measure, would make things impossible, then what do you think? They had all these millions of slaves coming from Africa here. Why? When in more recent times, Mr. Frederick Douglass is saying with more technology, he's saying the expense and the hardships, to say nothing of the cruelty attending such measure, would make success impossible. So what make you think? Further back into antiquity, they were able to have a successful mission to bring all these millions of slaves here into the Americas. Now somebody stop me. The American people are wicked, but they are not fools. They will hardly be disposed to incur the expense. So to say nothing of the injustice which this measure demands. Nevertheless, this colonizing scheme put up by the colonization society of unworthy as it is of American statesmanship and the American honor, and though full of mischief to the colored people, seems to have a stronghold on the public mind and at times has shown much life and vigor. The bad thing about it is that it has of late, owing to the persecution, begun to be advocated by colored men of acknowledged ability and learning, and every little while some white statements become its advocate. You hear that? It's always our people, man. I keep telling you, it's always our people that's selling us out. And then a so-called white or statement would pick it up and become an advocate. All of a sudden it become popular. This is what our elder is saying. The bad thing about it is that it has of late, owing to persecution, begun to be advocated by what? Colored men of acknowledged ability and learning. So all our men who are so-called proclaimed scholars, they are the ones who initiate these things. Who do you think initiated this Back to Africa movement? The only thing the pale man always do is what? He become its advocate. Man. Woo. Those gentlemen will doubtless have their opinion of me. I certainly have mine. I certainly have mine of them. My opinion is that if they are sensible, they are insincere. And if they are insincere, they are not sensible. They know, or they ought to know, that it would take more money than the cost of the late war to transport even 1/2 of the colored people of the United States to Africa. So once again, if when America had the United States had their first World War, they went into bankruptcy, and Mr. Frederick Douglass is telling you, all right, to even export 1/2 of the population of these so-called black people, it would cost more than that World War. In other words, it would bankrupt the United States. How in heaven's name do you think they brought all these millions of slaves here? How? Man, listen, man. Whether intentional or not, they are, as I think, simply trifling with an afflicted people. Yes, that's right. Our people are afflicted. They urge them to look for relief where they ought to know that relief is impossible. Okay? Relief is not in Ghana, my people. Okay? Come on, man. Y'all better stop playing. Relief is not in Ghana, my people. It's not. Because Ghana is not our home. Ghana, relief is not what you heard what Frederick Douglass said. They urge them to look for relief where it ought to know, where they ought to know relief is impossible. The only excuse they can make for the measure is that there is no hope for the Negro here, and that the colored people in America owe something to Africa. We don't owe Africa a damn thing. Tell them Chief Colonial said so. Okay? We don't owe them nothing because they haven't given us anything. They come, they take, and they continue to take. For once, let them give us something. They still want our blood. That's what they want. I'm going to read that again. They urge them to look for relief where they ought to know that relief is impossible. The only excuse they can make for the measure is that there is no hope for the Negro here, and that the colored people in America owe something to Africa. You see, that's why they make our lives so miserable, because they want us to feel like we don't belong. There is no hope for the American Negro. So you have to look for relief somewhere else. It is all part of a what? A grand scheme. Okay? It's all part of a grand scheme. This last sentimental idea makes colonization very fascinating to the dreamers of both colors. But there is really no foundation for it. It's a dream that they're selling you. It is not reality. It's a dream. Let us read some more. Reading is fun for the mental. This is edutainment. All right? They tell us that we owe something to our native land. This sounds well. But when the fact is brought to view, which should never be forgotten, that a man can only nave one native land, and that is the land in which he was born. The bottom falls entirely out of the settlement or out of the sentimental argument. Africa, according to her colonization advocates, is by no means modest in her demands upon us. She calls upon us to send her only our best men. She does not want our riffraff, but our best. That's what they want. They want our best. Okay? Why they didn't make a deal with the United States and say, you know what, all our brothers and sisters that are actually in jail. Not that I'm indicating they're riffraffs. Okay? But society looked down upon them. Why didn't Africa say, you know what, man, listen, our brothers and sisters that are in jail, they are from Africa. They're from the diaspora. They need a better chance. Why don't we send them to Africa and give them an opportunity to help build Ghana and help build Africa? But no, they want our best. That's what they want. They don't want our riffraffs. How many of our brothers and sisters that are homeless in the streets? Why didn't Ghana say, you know what, those are our people. Let's find some way, somehow, to create an initiative to build homes for homeless people of the African diaspora. But no, they want people who are middle class, who already have lives. Man, listen, man. Y'all think it's a game. All right? Y'all think it's a game, but I ain't playing though. Okay? But these just the men who are valuable and who are wanted at home. All right? It is true that we have a few preachers and laymen with a missionary turn or a mind whom we might easily spare. Some who would possibly do much good by going there as by saying here. But this is not the colonization idea. Its advocates want not only the best, but millions of the best. Better still, they want the United States government to vote the money to send them there. Okay? They want to use your own tax monies to send you back to a land that you never came from. They do not seem to see that if the government votes money to send the Negro to Africa, that the government may employ means to complete the arrangement and compel us to go. Okay? Y'all think it's a game. Now I hold that the American Negro owes no more to the Negroes in Africa than he owes to the Negro in America. There are millions of needy people over here, but there are also millions of needy people over there as well. And the millions in America need intelligent men of their own number to help them as much as intelligent men are needed in Africa to help her people. You hear what he said? Family, read between the lines. Even Frederick Douglass is telling you we ain't Africans. Well, Chief, what are you talking about? He never said that. Well, let me show you how to break things down when you read with understanding. Okay, let's read this paragraph again. We're going to read this paragraph here again. Okay, right here. Now, I hold that the American Negro, that's one identity. Stop right here. American Negro, one identity. The American Aboriginals, called American Indians, now called the American Negro, Black, African American, all these different names. That's one identity. He says what? Owes no more to the Negroes in Africa. That's another identity. Two different people. Well, Chief, how can you prove that? Well, let's go back to the etymology of Africa. Okay? Let's go back to the etymology of Africa. Yes, they are paying these African people to lie to us. Let us go back to the etymology of Africa. It says what? When it African, when it especially meant one brought from Africa, and sometimes what? Contrasted to the American Negro. The American Negro is not African. It's the same thing that Frederick Douglass is saying right here. The American Negro and the African Negro are two different stock of people. Two different pedigrees. Okay? There are millions of needy people over there, meaning in Africa, but there are also millions of needy people over here as well, meaning that in the Americas. And he says what? And he says, and millions in America need intelligent men of what? Their own. In other words, our own is not your own. Okay? To help them. We need our own to help us. Our own is not your own. As much what? As much intelligent men are needed in Africa to help who? Help her people. He didn't say our people, her people. What did Martin Luther King say? The Negro is exiled in his own land. Come on, man. The man is clearly showing you that there's a distinction between the American Negro and the African Negro. They are two different people. Two different people. All right? Besides, we have a fight on our own hands right here. A fight through the redemption of the whole race. And a blow struck successfully for what? For the Negro in America. Is a blow struck for the Negro in Africa. Because at the end of the day, yes, we are related somehow. Okay? But we are not the same people. All right? For until the Negro is respected in America, he need not expect consideration anywhere else. So unless we stand up and demand the respect in our land, no matter where you go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria, I don't care where you go in Africa, you will not be respected. All this native land talk, however, is nonsense. The native land of the American Negro is America. Okay? You hear that? All this native land talk is nonsense. The native land of the American Negro is America. His what? His bones, his muscles, his sinews are all American. Let us go look again at the definition of American. Noah Webster's 1820 dictionary. Somebody talk to me. American originally applied to what? The Aboriginals, the copper-colored races here in the Americas. And when we speak of copper, when you see a penny, people talk about, well, you know what? Well, copper. No, when you see a penny go from light brown to dark brown, could almost be confused for black. Okay? So come on, man. Let's not play these games. Where am I at? Right here. No, that's something else. I'm jumping ahead. All right. Check this out. His ancestor for 270 years have lived and labored, all right, and died on the American soil, and millions of his posterity have inherited Caucasian blood. Like I said, a lot of you have a lot of Caucasian blood in you. So don't hate the Caucasian man. It runs in your veins too. All right? I'm just keeping it 100. Okay? Just keeping it 100. All right? All right. So his ancestors for 200 years and 70 years have lived and labored and died. All right? They're talking about the period of slavery. All right? It is permanent, therefore, to ask, in view of the admixture, as well as in the view of the facts, where the people of this mixed race are to go. For their ancestors are white and black, and it will be difficult to find their native land anywhere else outside of the United States. All right? But anyway, y'all could read the rest of this. All right? And then it goes down to say, well, you know what? Let me just read a little more. All right? But the worst thing, perhaps, about this colonization nonsense is that it tends to throw over the Negro a mantle of despair. It leads him to doubt the possibility of his progress as an American citizen. It is also encourages popular prejudice with the hope that by persecution, the Negro can finally be dialogued or dislodged and driven from his natural what? From his natural home, man. Come on. While in the nature of the case, he must stay here and will stay here, if for no other reason than because he cannot well get away. Brothers and sisters, we cannot get away. This is our home. It says what? His natural home. If this is your natural home, what does it mean? What does it mean? It means that you are an American Aboriginal. You are the original American Indian. It's your natural home. And it says, while in nature of the case, he must stay here and will stay here, if for no reason than because he cannot, well, get away. You cannot get away from this American Indian blood. It's in you. No matter what you do. You go to Africa, you go to Nigeria, you will have nightmares. Because that's not your natural home. Okay? I object to the colonization scheme, because it tends to weaken the Negro, hold on one country, while it can give him no rational hope of another. Its tendency is to make him despondent and doubtful, where he should feel assured and confident. It forces upon him the idea that he is forever doomed to be a stranger and a sojourner in the land of his birth, and that he has no permanent abiding place. That's why they want to call you black. That's what black means. You have no permanent abiding place. That's what African American means. You feel me? All this is hurtful, with such ideas constantly flaunted before him. He cannot easily set himself to work to better his condition in such ways as he opened to him here. It sets him to groping everlasting after the impossibility, or the impossible. Even man who thinks at all must know that home is the fountainhead, the inspiration, the foundation, and the main support, not only of all social virtue, but of all motives to human progress, and that no people can prosper or amount to much unless they have a home, or the hope of a home. Family, what do you think? Why do you think they want you to feel so uncomfortable in your home? Come on, man. A man who has not such an object, either in possession or in prospect, is a what? Is a nobody, and will never, by anything else, to have a home. The Negro must have a country, and he is an enemy to the moral progress of the Negro, whether he knows it or not, who calls upon him to break up his home in this country for an uncertain hope in Africa. Even Frederick Douglass is telling you, anybody who's trying to send you to Africa is what? He says what? Okay? He is what? He is an enemy. He is an enemy of the people. I didn't say it. Frederick Douglass said it. Anyway, I will put all that in the link below. Okay, so y'all can finish up the reading for yourselves. I just want to open up your mind to let you see what's going on, show you the broader picture. Okay, let us put some meat on the bone right now. Y'all think this is a game? I only gave you the bone. Let us shut this down. Okay, let us shut this down with the dagger in the chest right now. All right, boom. Department of Homeland Security proposing 500% increase in fees to access family history records. Why? Because they don't want you. The more you dig, you're going to realize that this is your roots. So now they're jacking it up to 500%. Y'all think it's a game. Man, y'all don't realize, right? Exactly. How are you going to claim you're a Frederick Douglass nephew, but Frederick Douglass is telling you that he's an Aborigine, but you're here pushing our people to Africa? Even your own uncle, if that's true, if Frederick Douglass is truly, and I'm not going to call no names, y'all know who I'm talking about. If Frederick Douglass is truly your uncle, then he's telling you that you are an enemy to the American Aboriginal, the American Negro. I know. I just don't want to call his name because I'm not into the, you see what I'm saying? But you have all the likes of them, man. All right? Check this out. Department of Homeland Security proposing 500% increase in fees to access family history records. Genealogy family history theme with odd family photos and documents Getty image. The government is considering a huge fee hikes on genealogy searches, and Utah Senator Mitt Romney is trying to stop it. The Department of Homeland Security proposed making search fees jump from $65 to $240 and record fees go from 65 up to 385. This proposed change comes after they raised the fees 3 years ago. In 2016, the search fee went up from $20 to $65, and searches dropped by 30%. The fees are proposed to take place on the little-known genealogy program for the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Senator Romney says that this would hurt family historians, genealogists, and others who need to see those documents of their ancestors who came to the United States in the 19th century and the 20th century. But trust me, that's not what they want to hide. That's not what they want to hide. Come on, man. I understand the USCIS's budget relies primarily on user fees, and the southern border crisis continues to strain the agency's ability to fulfill its mission. Romney wrote in a letter Wednesday, however, I am concerned that drastically raising the genealogy program fees would harm genealogists across the United States without addressing your budgetary concern. He has asked the agency to send him the annual fee revenue numbers by the 18th, as well as what the proposed raise in fees would fund. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services did not respond to the phone call and email messages for the comment from the Deseret News, but it told the Washington Post USCIS is required to examine incoming and outgoing expenditures just like a business and make adjustment based on that analysis. Romney is also asking others to speak up before the public commitment ends on December 30th. Okay? The Department of Homeland Security has recently proposed a 500. I'm just reading that again. So once again, man, let me stop sharing and come back to you guys, and just let y'all know what it is, man. That's it. Let y'all know what it is. Peace and love, family. Peace and love. For those of you who want to support, all right, by all means, like I said, man, show your love. 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 Woo. Okay, let me just copy that. Okay. For those of you who want to show your love, man, by all means, show your love. All right. All right, let me see if I can show y'all one more thing before I conclude, because I'm about to shut this down. Boom. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go, right? Like I said, let's just wrap this up on just to solidify a couple of things. Let's share the screen again. So out of Frederick Douglass' mouth, all right, we hear what he said. We read what he said, that the American Negro, this is his home. All right. Now, even Martin Luther King said what? The Negro is exiled in his own land. Well, let us go look at the definition of exiled. Of a person having been expelled and barred from one's native country. You cannot be exiled from any country but yours. Typically for political or punitive reasons. And even, Malcolm X came back and said, you are the Aborigines, but you don't like being called the Aborigines. All right? So you see, you have to see, man, open your eyes, man. You could never be exiled in somebody else's country. Why do you think Dr. King, why do you think he used that word, exiled? He could have put any other word in that speech. But you see, he was giving you the clues, the same clues that grandmama gave us. Oh, baby, you got a little Indian in you. They never said you had any other little anything in you. No, they didn't say you have a little Hebrew in you. They didn't say you have a little Israelite in you. They didn't say you have a little Pan-African in you. They didn't say you have a little more in you. They say what, baby? You have a little Indian in you. That's who we are. The people called the American Indians. Be proud of that. Don't let nobody take that away from us. We are a distinct people. You could never be exiled in somebody else's home. This is our home. Period, point blank. All right? And I'm going to leave it on that note. So once again, I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, just wanted to drop some information. All right? You know, 2020 is approaching on us, and we got work to do. We got to take a stand somehow. All right? We got to take a stand somehow. At one point, you know, all the talking, we got to stop doing all the talking. And we got to put in the work. Okay? Talking is good. Teaching is good. All right? That's why I'm showing you guys all that information. You know what I mean? But at some point, you know, we got to make some moves. All right? So thank you once again. I know, is the fire and the passion in me, you know. My arrival date, my manifestation date is March 21st. I mean March 23rd. You know what I'm saying? Literally a day and a half, 2 days before the new year. You dig what I'm saying now? Right after the new year. So I'm right at the top of that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm a fire sign. So that passion in me, man. You know what I mean? So sometimes it may seem like I'm a little aggressive. Now it's just the fire and the passion. You dig? That's all it is. So I thank each and every one of you, you know, for being a part of the, the feed, man. You know, thank you. Thank you. Let me just give a few people a couple of shout outs, you know what I'm saying? Like, just give you, a little, a little love and across the screen, man. You know what I mean? Because I really appreciate y'all, man. You know what I mean? For real, for real. All right. Once again, give big shout and support to our sister, you know what I'm saying, Miss Mohawk. Go support, you know what I mean, www.originaltribalwear.com. Go support, all right? Go support, our sister, Much Lovely One. Go support her channel because, she's an artist and she is, a great, inspirator to our people as well. You know what I mean? So just, like I said, man, just want to show some love, man. That's what it is. Just want to show some love. All right. Here goes our sister right here doing great work as well. Always on Facebook, man. Sister Diana, she's always on Facebook going in hard. So I appreciate the work that each and every one of you guys are doing, man. I'm really excited. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Sister Mohawk, just put the information, I'm saying, in the websites on the chat, but I'm just gonna show you guys again. All right, so you could have that. Me brother. All right, me brother Brian, while go on, brethren. Everything done Chris, I saw we Tim and everything done Cook and Corey. You feel me? All right. All right, there we go, man. Just dropping the knowledge, you see? All right, here we go. Just showing everybody some love, man. You know what I mean? Okay, just showing everybody some love. You feel me? Yep. Showing everybody love, man. That's it. That's it. Okay. All right. Here we go again. Who else we have? Okay. So just showing some love, man. Just showing some love, you know what I mean? Yep. All right. Yeah, thanks, Crush the Legend. You already know how we do. Dropping that information. I see my brother Miko flex upon them, me brethren. Oh, Cleed. That's how we do, man. Yeah. 2020, I'll rerun things, So that's how we got to do it. Man. For real. Let me see everybody who's here. Let me see. Rapper Most Def family is there. Not sure if he is a citizen. He went to that. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Yep. There we go. Part of the Teachers Association. You know what I mean? My brother Terry Brown, what it is. All right. Yeah, that's why I say I love what I do, man. Just everybody just, coming on here in love and we just sharing information. And that's what it is. You feel me? All right. We have, our fam up there, you know what I'm saying, in Florida, representing hard, Empress, you know what I'm saying, on her king, putting in much work. You feel me? All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. There you go. So if your uncle is talking about he's an Aborigine, but you over here telling all people they Africans, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, stop the BS, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. You know, stop it. We ain't doing that. All right, we ain't doing that. All right, family. No doubt. You know, we got a lot of, yeah, March. So you April, so you Aries as well. That's what's up. All right. So guys, man, thank you. I'm shutting this down. You guys enjoy the rest of your continuation. And like I said, we got a lot of great things coming. Don't hesitate to support the channel, and we'll talk a little later. Peace, love, harmony, and light. All right.